Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Morning, Shelby.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we'll give it a couple minutes since we're on a new platform.
Shelby, I just got an email from somebody that's struggling with the link, so I'm gonna just re-email the group with the Zoom stuff.
Thank you. Jamie, can you check and make sure that Tara from Crisis Nursery, Tara Bartholomew, make sure that she is on that because she's presenting. Thank you.
Shelby, do you have her email? Can you shoot it over to me so I make sure I send it to her?
Yes, let me get that real quick. Just sent it to you, Jamie. Do we want to go ahead and get started, or should we wait just a couple minutes until you can send that out, Jamie?
Let me just send it out. I'm literally about to hit send. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and get started and then we can.
All right. Well, thank you all. I know we have like 15 different invitations probably at this point, so thank you for getting on the correct one. So sorry. We have switched to a Zoom platform instead of Teams, so we'll be using the Zoom with home base from here on out. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier for everyone, and we will be able to record the meeting, unlike Teams. So you will have the recording after the meeting. If you want to send that out to your team members who maybe couldn't attend or you want to watch it later, feel free to do so. I am gonna pull up my screen.
Shelby, just a quick question. Did you send it to me via email or Teams?
Oh, sorry, Teams.
It's okay. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
And actually, while you're doing this, I'm going to hop over onto that old link and just make sure there's nobody there and send them over here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, how do you get this out of here? Oh God, this stupid thing is in the way at the top. Get out of here. There we go. All right. Well, welcome everyone to yet another provider call. Thank you all for joining. Let's go ahead and get started. As usual, if you want to use the raise hand function, I think we have that on Zoom as well. You're happy to do so. We do have our home base team supporting the call, so they're going to be monitoring the chat. Should you have questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can always unmute yourself if you have a question. Otherwise, try to keep yourself on mute so we can eliminate some of the background noise. But yeah. So speaking of our home base team, I wanted to make sure that we had time to introduce who is on the call today and who's going to be supporting us moving forward. So home base, you want to take it away?
We can't hear you if you're talking. Tanya, do you mind introducing yourself?
Not at all. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Tania Morales. I'm at home base and I'm the project coordinator. And for today, I'll be helping facilitating this meeting and future meetings as well. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So this is our new home base team. We won't have all of the home basers on the call, just getting some support with the meeting. So rather than Jamie monitoring, it's going to be home base from here on out. So please feel free to put questions in the chat, comments, and then you can let me know. Okay, so let's get to our regularly scheduled programming. We have a couple COVID updates, not a whole lot. We have a couple providers to come on and share some of their programs today, and then just a couple CoC updates. So this should be a short call today, mostly hearing from a couple providers. Oops, too fast. So I just wanted to reiterate again for shelters, care centers as well. If you do want to get some rapid tests, you are more than welcome to order those through the state. I haven't heard whether anyone's received theirs yet from the state or not, but I've helped quite a few of you fill out the application. So if you have questions, it is a little bit confusing. So I'm happy to help you walk through that and fill that out. I think it does take at least a couple weeks to get your first test kits, but you just have to fill out an application and then you basically say your typical weekly need and they will send that out to you. They do ask that you report back if you have positives. I think they're doing this statewide. So there are just a couple of things that you have to do if you're going to do the rapid test through the state. So please feel free to check out that link, and you're happy to do it on your own. But if you do run into questions, like you probably will, feel free to reach out to me and I can help you walk through that. Alrighty. And then I just wanted to remind everybody, we've mentioned this many times, but Lene Altman from Healthcare for the Homeless, our public health team, has talked about this. They do have a mobile vaccination clinic. So if you do have maybe 5 or more people who are interested in getting the vaccine at your site, then you can definitely contact Lene and see if you can get a mobile vaccine clinic out. It's not too late, so you're still welcome to do that, but definitely make sure that you have at least 5 people that are interested. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to come out because they have a lot of places to go. Any questions for Lene? Okay, and then he had another reminder about the business intake form. So should you have a COVID positive, please fill out this business intake form. That helps the contract tracing team make sure that they can keep everybody safe and notify the appropriate people should you have a positive case at your site. I think it has changed to the spot. We were using something different previously, Lene. But yes, please go ahead and use that link should you have a positive, and the tracing team will reach out to you. I know we've had a couple situations. Trinity, you did a great job of reaching out when you thought there might be a positive, and worked with the contract tracing team, and that worked out great. So please, if you do have any questions or you're wondering if someone was positive, they can't give out that information, but we can take that back to the contract tracing team just to make sure that you're notified should you have had someone who was positive at your site. Any questions? All right.
Shelby, do you see the chat?
I do not.
I am monitoring the chat and I don't see any questions so far.
No questions?
Just a comment, there might be some folks that are calling in, so I often try to read what's in the chat just because there's folks that might not have access to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are at least 2 numbers on the monitoring record.
Okay, let's see. Oh, so Wayne, yes, I can post the link to the positive test form in the chat. Absolutely. See if I can go back. There we go. Okay, so I just posted the link to the business intake form for positive cases in the chat. So you have that. And then after the call, we always send out the presentation and any materials along with the recording. So you'll have all these live links in the PowerPoint. All righty, next we have 2 provider updates. We wanted to highlight the East County Interim Housing Program with Bay Area Community Services, or BACS. So Arash or Rebecca, I'm not sure which one of you would prefer to present, or both. But yeah, I will let you take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Rebecca is here as well. Rebecca, do you want me to share the screen?
Sorry, I had closed out everything, so I couldn't unmute my computer. I had to open everything back up. Yeah, please share your screen or ask.
Sure. Okay, can everyone see that?
I can see. Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
Great. So Rebecca, I don't know if you wanted to, Rebecca's the program manager. I'm the program supervisor. I work with the care coordination team. So why don't you start, Rebecca, and then when we get to care
Absolutely.
coordination.
Yes. So hi, I'm Rebecca Sanders. I'm the program manager for East County Interim Housing with Bay Area Community Services. We started our program with East County Interim Housing on April 1st of this year. Our facility is a non-congregate homeless shelter that operates off the Housing Fast model, and we can house up to 200 people at our facility at one time. So our capacity is about 200, give or take, depending on the family situation. So we house single adults and couples and adult families. So only individuals over the age of 18 are eligible for our program. So this is our mission and values.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't, just went ahead and went forward.
Okay, so I'm not sure, BACS is fairly new to Contra Costa County, so I'm not sure if we've done any presentations with the CoC just yet. Our mission is to uplift the underserved individuals and their families by doing whatever it takes. Our vision, BACS envisions a world where all people are healthy, safe, and engaged in community wellness. Our value is wellness, prevention, community, diversity, integrity, and innovation and accountability.
So I can jump in for a minute if that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so BACS is a pretty large agency. What I really like about it is that there's a lot of data-driven interventions that are used. The CTI model, the critical time intervention approach, basically it's a data-driven intervention that focuses on working with people pretty intensively at the beginning of our work with them, and then easing back a little bit as they need less support. And the whole premise behind that is to, in terms of housing and people who have gone through the cycle of getting housing and becoming homeless several times, what we're trying to do is to work with them and to prevent whatever has been causing them to become homeless several times sometimes. And so the CTI model, basically, we focus a lot on the transition from our program to permanent housing. And that's a really critical time, because at that point, we need to make sure that they have enough support and that we're monitoring their progress so that, they don't slip through the cracks. Because what we're trying to avoid, it's great to find people housing, but it actually hurts people more if we find them housing and they go through that whole cycle again. It's a traumatic cycle, as we all know, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So, yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the whole philosophy of care that BACS uses. Yeah, take it away, Rebecca. You're muted. Rebecca, you're muted.
there we go. Sorry. So our staffing and service model, just to talk a little bit about that, we do have 24-hour staffing on site. So we have residential counselors that are on site for basic needs, just to talk. We provide meals. We have laundry service. We are transitioning from, we do not have laundry service. We have a laundry room that's free to the clients. We provide meals. We have care coordinators on site. Everybody's assigned a care coordinator. We focus on whole person housing plans. So we individualize every housing plan for every person. We start at the bare minimum. If they don't have an ID, we're helping them with IDs. We have employment coordinators for people that are eligible to go back to work or go to work. We have employment coordinators on site.
You got muted again.
I'm not sure why my computer keeps muting. I'm not touching anything, so it's doing that on its own. Having technical difficulty, that's weird. Okay, so where did you guys, was I talking about employment coordinators when I mean?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what the last thing we heard, yeah.
Okay, so then we have, housing locators that are basically, they're on site and they're focused on finding housing for our individual clients. So we focus on what the client's needs are, what their wants are. We build relationships with the landlords in order to maintain healthy relationship between the landlord and the client. We do everything from benefits to helping somebody get in-home care and whatever else they need in order to succeed in housing. We also have a full healthcare for the homeless clinic on site for our folks. That includes one behavioral health specialist that will do ongoing therapy even after the clients leave. Again, our program is non-congregate. To be eligible for our program, they have to be literally homeless. The referrals will come directly through the core team. See, I think this number may be up as of now, but 244 individuals served, 215 households since April 2021. 53 households have moved into permanent housing to date, which I believe that number has gone up in the last month. I believe we housed another 13 households last month.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Thank you both so much. Rebecca and Arash, I wanted to clarify because I think it's helpful for the group that your site takes couples, but not families with children, correct?
Yes, we take couples, but not families with children.
Great.
We'll take families with adult children. If they're over 18, we do have families, family compositions, father, son, brother, sister. Yeah, lots of different. Right now we have a mother, father, and a son.
Oh, okay.
So we do, and we also accept emotional support animals. But again, this site is definitely differs from the other shelters because we have non-congregate, which means if family has their own room, they don't have to, they're not in a dorm. They have their own space.
You also accept 290s, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for Rebecca or Arash about their program? Okay. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you, Arash. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So next, our next provider that we're going to hear from is Tara Bartholomew from the Bay Area Crisis Nursery. I think a lot of you are probably familiar with this, the Bay Area Crisis Nursery, but we haven't talked about them in a long time. I think we haven't mentioned them even before the pandemic. So I wanted to invite them on the call and talk about their services, because I think now more than ever is a really important time to get connected to their services for your families who might need it. So Tara, are you on the line?
I'm here.
Cool. Thank you so much. I will let you take it away.
I'm just going to talk this morning to our earlier point for me. So if we haven't been, talking to your group, there's a lot has changed at the nursery in the past year. Of course, just like the shelters, we are a shelter and we're a residential care facility. And so we stayed open just like everybody else. And at the beginning of the pandemic, we started getting phone calls from all over the Bay Area. I mean, Oakland, San Francisco, banks shut down. And so we were getting calls. Do you have food? Do you have clothing? Do you have just all those essential kind of needs? You know, when the stores closed down and we had, you know, everybody couldn't find toilet paper. Well, our parents couldn't find diapers. So within about 3 weeks, we opened up as a diaper and food bank. The diaper bank was because we had a small one on site that we used just for our clients. We put out to the community that we needed diapers, and we had somewhere around 10,000 diapers delivered from our donors in 1 week. So it was pretty amazing to see all these diapers just being dropped off at our doorstep. So we are a fully functional diaper bank. We still give out about 5,000 diapers a month. The need's gone up a little bit this last month from just some people. I mean, you know, we're still in a crisis, right? And then we partnered with the Contra Costa Food Bank to become a food pantry. And so we're both a fully operational diaper and food pantry. Recently, we opened up what we call the Bacon Boutique. And Bacon Boutique right now is just located in our lobby of the nursery until we can really bring back volunteers to run the boutique. But it's a free thrift shop. The great thing right now with COVID is we only accept new items because we can't wash everything the second it comes into the nursery. You know, we have the 0 to 5-year-olds in-house. And so everything is brand new with tags on it. And Macy's was amazing. They heard that we were opening up a boutique and they gave us about 100 boxes of brand new children's clothes. We had a couple other, you know, companies give us adult clothing, and it's really great because it's got small sizes, but then a lot of plus sizes for our parents. So right now, families just can come in and they can shop for whatever they need. And of course, we still get a lot of requests for just baby clothing, right? Babies grow so quickly. So we're giving out just a lot. There's some of the new things, right? Thanks. But this last year, and actually last summer, we started hearing about the childcare crisis, right? Centers were closing down, family childcare programs were closing down. I used to run an organization in Oakland called Bananas. Before I came to the Bay Area Crisis Nursery, it would be like CoC Kids in Contra Costa County, right? So childcare and child abuse treatment is the two backgrounds. And when I heard about the childcare crisis and I heard about families, and I'm also going to say, inside the nursery, we had 2 mothers who lost their childcare. Myself, this is insane. Like, we have to be part of this solution. So we applied to the state to expand our license, and we now offer free childcare services from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. So that's Monday through Friday, 365 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're limited by the state because of our crisis nursery license that we can only give 60 days in a year, but it's still a good stopgap, right? So if any of your clients are, need to go to appointments, need, a therapist, they can come to the nursery. We're not like a childcare program, so they don't need to show immunization records. They don't need to fill out a lot of paperwork. They're really, what they fill out is what we call a care packet. And it just is basically the parent telling us how to care for their child. Does your child co-sleep? Does your child sleep in a bed? Would you like your child in a toddler, bed or a crib? Or, what types of food does your child like? Like those type of items, but it's not this cumbersome paperwork, major immunizations, right? We need to prove all these things. And we don't ask for citizenship, of course, like many programs, not my business. But so it's really easy to enroll in our program because we're a crisis nursery. The age limit is, so children ages 6 years old. And that's, again, just a license restriction. It's kind of, you know, like a preschool program would age out. But we get children as young as 25 hours old, straight from the hospital. In fact, we get a lot of homeless babies at that age because, you know, mom's living in a car, you know, mom's living in an unsafe place, or maybe she's couch surfing and she doesn't feel comfortable with her child being in that environment. So a lot of our baby usually because either parents are homeless or mom, you know, maybe has a medical emergency or a mental health emergency. But thanks, Stephanie. So the childcare program has been also just a new component for us. We still do our residential care facility, our residential care services, and that's basically for every crisis situation that a parent has, the child or children can stay with us for up to 30 days, and that's 24-hour care. We can't take parents. That is a limitation of the nursery. It's not a family shelter, it's a children's shelter. But they get 30 days. So if you have any families who are coming in and there's some transition or there's a wait period to get into the shelters, this is a really good kind of stopgap, a little safety net for parents. Also, if you've had parents who maybe have gone into housing and there's an issue with the housing, right, and we've got a gap, this is going to be a great kind of just safety net for the child. We do have some restrictions with COVID. We've gone from 20 beds to 15 beds, but you know, we still keep a lot of slots open for those crisis kind of cases, because we know that we could get a call in an hour. We're admitting a family with a crisis. So we always keep a few beds open just to make sure that, you know, we have somebody. We've gotten children 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, we had a mother about 4 months ago. She was 3 o'clock in the morning in Richmond, and she was walking down the street with a baby. And this police officer, you know, stopped and said, "Do you need help?" And she said, "Yeah, I need some place. I need some place to go." And he said, "Well, let's bring your baby to the nursery." And they had a female officer drive her out to the nursery, which was super sweet. That's a 3 o'clock in the, you know, morning intake, right?
Tara, sorry, there are 3 questions in the chat. Yeah,
I'm seeing them right now.
Okay.
So if a child is there, how much time can a parent spend with the child? Time limits. So usually we're actually pretty liberal about parents coming into the nursery, spending time with their children, taking children out for the day. With COVID, the state just doesn't allow it, right? So there's kind of no ins and outs with children, and there's no, you know, parent visitation. And so right now, we can do Zoom, we can do FaceTime with parents, but it's just a limited once that child's in there. What's the age limit again? 0 through 5. So on their 6th birthday, that's when they age out. And where are we located? So we're on Clayton Road in Mendocino, and it's kind of by Treat and Clayton Road. So it's actually a lot of our clients come from East County, come from Antioch and Pittsburgh area. But we get clients as far as, you know, up in Marin County in Solano. But the majority, thank you for sharing the website for the nursery. But the majority of our clients are going to be Contra Costa County and then Alameda County. And our day services is usually going to be Concord, Pittsburgh, Bay Point, Antioch areas. We do have families who come if they work in the area. You know, we have a few Solano families that come because they work in Concord. And I'm seeing a hand raised. Is that Jamie?
Yeah. Hi, Tara. A question about families that are engaged in child welfare system.
Yeah.
Are there any restrictions around that or guide? No. Okay.
Please use our services. You know, even if you're a pre-report, right? Like you're just working with CFS to get some support, use our services, because we know that when parents are isolated, we know that when parents are stressed out, we know that all these factors, right, increase the risk of child abuse. So yes, use us as part of your village, right? Come to the nursery, drop off your child for a few hours, drop them off for a couple of days. I mean, that's exactly what we're there for. We have a third program, and it's called the respite program. And this is actually the one that really helps those at-risk families. And it's monthly visits for 1 to 3 days. And so it doesn't have to do with a crisis. It doesn't have to do with emergency childcare needs. It is just every month for 1 to 3 days, drop your child off at the nursery. Just get that break. And then that allows us to check in with the families. How are things going? Do you need anything? You know, has anything happened in the family? Has anything changed? Are there any stressors going on? So we can really assess the risk for child abuse. And if we feel like the family has increased stressors or maybe multiple risk factors, then we can say, hey, listen, that 1 to 3 day visit, why don't you go ahead and leave your child for a week? Let's keep working on what's going on, you know, in the home. One of the things that actually made me reach out to your department is that program is so key, right? Those monthly visits is so key to checking in with the families. What happened when the state opened up their voucher program for the motel vouchers, which I feel is amazing, right? Yes, get people off the streets, get them into motels, get them into hotels. You know, let's reduce the transmission of COVID, especially amongst Brown and Black people, right? Because we are more at risk. But what it did was it put the families into these motel rooms, right? And what we saw was an increase of child abuse to children that we felt the families had been stable at the nursery, right? And then we started getting the calls that children were hurt physically, that parents fell back into drug use. You know, it just threw families in this isolated motel room. And picture living in, I mean, motels and hotels, they're nice to go visit for a few days, but could you imagine living one for 6, 7 months with a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old, you know? And families weren't reaching out to us. And even though we were calling and continuing to call, you know, we'd make monthly phone calls to families, especially families who have kind of dropped off. We kept getting, oh, well, I've got a motel, so I'm fine. You know, and it was like, no, actually, like what ended up happening wasn't fine in those hotels. And we just saw too many cases, right? So I even say to your group, if you have families living in motels, shelters, everything, parents still need a break from parenting. You still need a break. You still need me time. It's not selfish to have me time as a parent. I know it can feel like that, but it's not, right? Your me time is you refreshing, you refilling your cup, because your cup has to be overflowing in order for you to give to others. Otherwise, you're just draining and emptying yourself all day long, right? So I encourage everybody who works with families, you know, tell them about the nursery. You know, the emergency daytime services, you know, the childcare program, you got 60 days in a year. If you just need a couple hours, just a couple hours to go grocery shopping without a 2-year-old, you know, chasing you around and screaming in the cart, drop off your 2-year-old. If your child has, you know, a developmental delay, autism, these are also, you know, stressors in a parent's life. And we've seen that the regional center, and because of COVID, has had to discontinue their play groups and their daytime groups, right? We're taking those children, right? The only children that we do not have a nurse on staff for severely medical fragile children. But developmental delays, autism, anything like that. I mean, these are things that we care for these children every day, right? We have caregivers who have worked for 20 years with us, you know, and some of our, you know, parents are our caregivers are also parents of children with special needs. So,
Tara, there's another question in the chat from Lisa.
Is there a limit to how many times they can utilize the nursery? Okay. So the childcare services is 60 days in a year. It's 30 days every 3 months. It's a rolling thing. We keep track of it, but it's 60 days in a year. The crisis residential services, that's where children live with us for up to 30 days. I found a loophole in the state. So licensing says that it's per crisis situation. So when I updated our plan of operation with the state, I put in per crisis situation, because the fact of the matter is our families are living in poverty. They have multiple crises. I wish they didn't, but it could be homelessness today, 30 days. It could be domestic violence 2 months from now. another 30 days. So every single crisis situation is 30 days. What I can't do is I can't extend a parent who's been homeless for another 30 days because they didn't call the shelters and they didn't try and at least get into some sort of housing program. And then the respite is 1 to 3 days a month. And we were just grandfathered in, luckily, with that program. We're the only crisis nursery who does that program. What is average wait time from contact the parents to be able to receive emergency childcare? If we're not full that day, they can have it the same day. They just need to be able to come down and, you know, fill out the care packet with our staff. So it definitely can be same day, and our crisis are almost always same day, right? Because people just knock on our door sometimes. You know, 10 o'clock at night. You know, I used to sleep in the lobby of the Salvation Army, and it's full. They come knocking on our door. Hi, Everett. Nice to virtually meet you. So yeah, so it's really, and some parents, you know, we had a mom who was going in for a C-section. She knew 3 weeks in advance when her C-section is going to be, so she planned a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance, and that's fine too. We do pre-bookings for families, especially when we know they're going to be, you know, going to start a job or something like that. Yes, 211 has the crisis nursery in their database, and they're always great about emailing me and making sure that I'm keeping all my services updated. So it should all be on there. Maybe not the Bacon Boutique. I probably need to add that there. But everything else should be.
Thank you so much, Tara. I really appreciate it. This is really helpful, and I wish we would have had you on way sooner. But you're recognizing a need that we've seen in our hotels of families isolated with no help and no support other than the staff on site who might not be equipped to handle some of the crises that they're going through with their children.
Or even identify, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not, when child abuse is happening, you know, I grew up in a family who unfortunately had a lot of abuse and you know, not my parents, I will say that my parents were like, but you know, my aunts and my uncles went through a lot of domestic violence, and I witnessed a lot of domestic violence and child abuse in my childhood. And I'll tell you, I didn't start talking about it until I was in my 30s. And I started working in child abuse prevention and treatment services in my early 20s. I worked in childcare in my teens. And I did not come out and start telling my story until I felt secure enough to, right? I felt okay with telling it and understanding that I wasn't going to offend somebody, that this is just the reality of my life. So yeah, I mean, to expect people who work in motels or hotels or who do not work in trauma-informed services or in, you know, risk identifying services, you know, what do you expect? And we lost a baby this year. We actually lost one of our babies to child abuse. Sorry. And I never want that to happen. You know, never. And that's been hard on all of us. So we'll, you know, have me back. I will promise not to cry. You know, I think that for me, it's like, I've got to get out there and start championing for these children, right? And I want the program to continue. I just want to make sure that parents get support while they're in these programs and that they're not isolated.
Absolutely.
You know?
I really appreciate that. This has been really great. Does anyone have any other questions for Tara while she's here? This is a great resource that I hope we can get more people tapped into.
And they can come tour. That is the one thing, we are doing tours.
Awesome.
You know, so parents can come in and they can see the facility, they can see, you know, other children, they can meet our caregivers, you know, our staff reflect our community. So, oh, thanks, Wayne. So yeah, so they're welcome to visit. Masks on, COVID questionnaires and temperatures taken, but they're welcome to come in.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Shelby, there was a question for Rebecca earlier from Tracy. If Rebecca's still here. Hi, Rebecca.
Okay.
So the question from Tracy was, how long are people allowed to stay?
Generally, our stay is from 30 to 120 days, but as long as somebody is actively working on housing and getting their documents and things together, then it's on a case-by-case basis. If they're not working on goals, then it could be as little as 30 days.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
All right, any last minute questions for Tara? No? Okay. Well, Tara, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Would you mind putting your contact information in the chat? If someone does have questions, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, sorry, hit send.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to Tara directly if you want to, or you can reach out to myself and I can reach out to Tara. But this is a great resource if you haven't used and you have families who might be able to benefit from this, please reach out. Thank you so much, Tara, for coming on, and you're welcome to join our meetings from here on out, and you can stay for the rest of today, or you're free to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I've got another one this afternoon. So
yes,
for some of you, maybe later, hopefully I won't bore you with the same stuff.
No worries. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too. All right, we are going to carry on. We don't have much content left, so I wanted to make sure we have plenty of time for our provider presenters, because I feel that's the most important thing, to learn about new resources or existing resources, really. I do not have any coordinated entry updates, and we don't have any HMIS updates. Jamie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelby. Hi, everyone. Jamie Jeanette with H3. We are knee deep in planning for Homeless Awareness Month. So November's Homeless Awareness Month, and we have a couple of different work groups working on different things. So every year we put together a big toolkit. We're looking at doing a video, actually, working on a panel discussion that will probably feature people with lived experience. So I'm going to drop in the chat. We have opportunities if folks want to get involved in any of that. And also I wanted to flag, as part of the toolkit, we will be highlighting any events. So if any of your agencies are putting on events in November, there's some communities that are doing community forums and that sort of thing, but also thinking about donation needs. So if your agency is in need of like material donations beyond cash, and also volunteer opportunities, we always highlight those. So I'm going to drop up my information in the chat and also a link if you're interested in any of the work groups. But that train is leaving the station. And then also wanted to, Shelby, yeah, perfect. So we are back to doing our monthly CoC trainings. And so the next training will be Housing First with some of the attorneys from Bay Area Legal Aid. This is a mandatory training, so this is going to cover stuff that HUD requires. It's going to be really good. We're trying to make it really interactive. So that will be on Monday, the 27th. Hopefully you should have gotten already a constant contact blast about that. If you have not, I'm going to again put my, I'll put the email in the chat about how to, if you are not already getting emails from us about trainings, shoot an email over there. Also check your spam folder. Yes, so constant contact is great for lots of things, but it can get filtered as spam. So I'm sending out actually an email probably once a month from, once a week from Constant Contact. Not to everyone, but we are doing our new CoC newsletter will be coming out soon. So look for that. If you don't see that next week, definitely ping me, because that means something's getting stuck in the trash. That's it.
All right, thank you, Jamie. And I just want to super quickly plug, as you all know, the NOFO, which was previously the NOFA, was recently released. So that's the Notice of Funding Opportunity. instead of availability. I put our link to that on our website, our cchealth.org website, so you're happy to check that notice out. And yeah, I just wanted to plug for that. You all probably already know. Any questions, comments? Okay. Well, our next provider call is Thursday, October 14th from our usual time, 8:30 to 9:30. If you have any questions between now and then, feel free to contact me. And then if you have any providers that you would like to hear from, you want to invite them, or your provider yourself, and you want to talk about your program to other providers, please let me know. I'm always looking for new providers to highlight each month. That's one of the best things about this call, is we have a time to hear from our providers and what other resources are in the community. So please feel free to let me know. But otherwise, I think that's all we have for today.
Shelby, I want to add one quick thing, actually. Thank you for reminding me. So part of Homeless Awareness Month, we're about to put out some submission forms for awards. And one of them will be for innovative projects or programs. So anything that's new within the last 2 years. So if you know of even any small little projects or programs that are serving people experiencing homelessness within the last 2 years, we're going to want to hear about it. So stay tuned for those. You're going to hear that on probably those will go out on Friday. Sorry, keep going.
No, thank you so much, Jamie. All right, friends. Well, I will see you next month, if not sooner. Thank you all so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, Shelby.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.